Make sure to check the documents and then summarize them in a report.
What is this?
After working for decades, can't you even do a simple document check?
Really? Just because he's the manager, why does he feel the need to talk down to everyone? There's something to be said for professionalism. No, even basic human decency. To think he made it to become a manager without being able to use formal language.
If you've got it, make sure it's done by today.
No, as I said before, I have other things I need to do.
That doesn't matter. If you can follow my orders, I'll have to fire you.
Fired? Does he really think I'll just do as he says? It's not like I'm rebelling just because he's younger. If it were truly necessary work, I'd take it on without complaint. But the documents he handed me were from the back shelf. And they're from 5 years ago. Why summarize documents for a company we've already ceased dealing with? It was a waste of time, and I had no intention of playing along with this farce.
Hey, did you get those documents summarized? You promised to submit them yesterday. Why haven't I seen them yet? Do you need to be told to do everything?
I haven't done anything with the documents. As I said yesterday, I have no intention of wasting my time.
So you're saying you can follow the orders of your manager?
If you're going to wield your power as the manager like that, then please do the job of a manager properly. Is assigning meaningless tasks something you think a manager should be doing? I made my stance clear. Then,
Oh, if you're going to speak to me like that, I'll show you what a manager's job is. We don't need old-timers like you. You're fired.
my name is John. I'm currently 63 years old. I'm still working, but now work is all I have left. I had a wife who was of the same age, but lost her in a car accident 20 years ago. Since we had no children, I've been alone ever since. But working kept me motivated and needed by the company and its president. 45 years ago, just after graduating high school, I was living by doing part-time jobs. Welcome, just you today.
Actually, I'm expecting 3 team members. Could we get a table?
Certainly. I was working part-time at a steakhouse. The pay wasn't great, but the owner was a really nice guy, so I enjoyed my life. This shop was quite established, with 80% regular customers. Thanks to those regulars, the business was sustainable. But one day, the owner called me over.
I'm sorry to spring this on you suddenly, but I'm thinking of closing the shop at the end of this year.
What?
The customers have been dwindling year by year, and I'm reaching my physical limits. I'm sorry, but you'll need to look for a new job.
I was honestly taken aback by this sudden news from the owner. Sure, I knew the shop would close eventually since he hadn't taken any apprentices. But I hadn't expected it to come this soon. I had never thought about the future, couldn't even imagine doing anything other than working there. I knew the day would come, but the owner gave me a 6-month notice. From that day, I started looking for a job, but it wasn't going well.
Today I'm alone, so I'll take the counter seat, please.
Understood. That day, a regular customer, a company president, came in, and I seated him at the counter. As usual, I served water and a towel, then let him enjoy his steak. It was the same service as always.
Can't find a job.
What?
I heard from the owner about closing the shop. You'll be out of a job, right?
Yay, that's right. With just a high school diploma and no real skills, it's been tough finding someone willing to hire me.
How about joining us then, as a part-timer? If you show good results, I'll make it a full-time position.
I doubted my ears for a moment. Was this person serious? He's talking about hiring me with no skills and just a high school education? That seemed like a risk. But are you sure about me?
The owner has been taking care of me for a long time. He consulted me about you. I can just stand by and do nothing, right?
The owner had gone to the back to get some ingredients and wasn't there, but to think he was this concerned about me? The owner did.
I believe in the importance of connections between people. I became good friends with you here, which must be fate. I want to extend a helping hand to a young person who is willing to try hard. When I started my company, the owner helped me out with a lot of advice, and I knew it would come back around someday.
The president's words resonated with me. Connections between people? The owner was good to the president, so the president was good to me. Is that how the chain reaction works? I naturally accepted it and decided not to waste the opportunity the president had given me. After that, I started working at the president's company as soon as the owner's shop closed. Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you.
It'll be different from working at the steakhouse, but do your best, okay?
I'll do my best to meet your expectations. The president trusted me, and I worked hard to live up to that trust. Of course, I had never done sales before, so at first, I really struggled to get results. But thanks to the training provided by my colleague and the support from my owner, I quickly grew as a salesperson and was able to produce decent results a year after starting. After that, I created new sales opportunities and used those connections to secure more and more contracts. President, it's just a 3-month contract for now, but I managed to secure a deal with Smith Industries.
Really?
They said they'd consider future dealings based on our performance over these 3 months, so let's keep up the good work. I studied hard while working on how to secure contracts and gain trust, and with each experience, I came to understand various things. Thanks to that, I was able to secure some significant contracts for the company, and I truly enjoyed my work. Then, one day when I was 30, the president called me in.
Sorry for calling you in suddenly. I wanted to talk to you about a promotion.
A promotion.
You've performed beyond my expectations, and I see you as a necessary asset for our company's future. So, I was thinking, how about taking on a managerial position? Having someone with your track record in charge could help the company grow.
A managerial position. I was genuinely pleased with the offer of a promotion and would have accepted it immediately under normal circumstances. However, I still wanted to work on the front lines. I considered my job in sales to be my true calling. I pride myself on my communication skills and my ability to win trust and secure contracts more than anyone else. That's why I wanted to work where I could fully utilize those skills. Thank you. Being offered a promotion is truly an honor, but I want to continue working in sales for this company. Also, after observing my colleagues and owners, I don't think I'm cut out for managing people.
I see. If that's how you feel, how about a raise instead? Anyway, I'm happy as long as you're willing to work for the company. Let's keep up the good work.
Of course. I owed a lot to the president for helping me, and I had always intended to work my hardest for the company. Of course, the fact that he offered me a promotion meant he recognized my efforts. That shows I've made an impact, and I was happy just to have that conversation. And I plan to continue producing results and contributing to the president and the company. After all, I was picked up by the president. I was determined to repay that favor over a lifetime. That was my feeling. And so, I continued to deliver results, and before I knew it, 10, 20, 30 years had passed. In that time, I got married, and 20 years ago, I lost my wife in an accident. Throughout the tough times in my life, I was always helped by those around me, and somehow I managed to keep going without losing sight of my life. Even at this age, some might find me odd, not having been promoted and still working as a regular sales employee, but I enjoyed my work and wanted to repay the favor in my own way. Then one day,
I've been appointed as the new manager starting today, so I'm counting on everyone. The overall sales performance has been declining, so I'm here to make some reforms.
the previous manager had retired and a new one in his 30s had been brought in. He had worked at a company known to the president, and his capabilities were well regarded. But from day one, he declared significant reforms.
First off, there are too many employees in the sales department. We'll be trimming the unnecessary force. Of course, those who haven't been performing are included, but the primary target will be the older employees with no future here, so just be prepared.
Our workforce was relatively young, but it's true there were salespeople in their 40s and 50s. Maybe he was referring to me, now in my 60s. I had that thought, but there was no use worrying about every little thing. Besides, I had a major task ahead of me. For that reason, I didn't have the time to seriously listen to this young manager's talk. That's what I thought, but
Hey, what are you doing?
what? I'm preparing for the next negotiation.
Do you not realize that's pointless? Didn't you listen to what I said earlier? Or is your hearing so bad you didn't hear it?
If I stay silent, he just goes on. But getting angry at someone more than 2 decades younger isn't worth it. What I need to focus on isn't getting upset, but producing results through my work. I plan to deliver results on the project I'm working on until retirement. That's what I had decided. I have things to do. Is that all right with you?
That's what I'm saying. You don't have any work to do. What job can an old person do? Seriously? Can't you even understand that?
Huh? Sure, I'm nearing retirement, but what does he know about me? That's the problem with young people these days. Yet, it's something I don't want to say. That's exactly what an old person would say. Still, I don't want to be criticized by people not understanding what work I do or the achievements I've contributed to this company for things they know nothing about. Don't worry, I won't be a burden. I'll just do my job.
This is why I hate stubborn old people. Staying as a regular employee without being promoted until this age speaks for itself, doesn't it?
What?
You're still a regular employee because you can't do the job, right?
So that's the misunderstanding. To someone who knows nothing, I might indeed seem like a regular employee who couldn't get promoted, a useless one at that. It wouldn't be surprising if he thought that way. The company can't fire me even if they wanted to because of lifetime employment. That's probably what he thinks. However, there's probably no one in the company who thinks that way except for this manager. If he understood what kind of work I do, maybe his attitude towards me would change. That's what I thought. However,
Well, if you really want to work that badly, I'll give you something to do. Here, check these documents and summarize them in a report.
what is this?
After decades of work, you can even do a document check.
It's not that. Why do I have to do document checking? I thought this kind of work was done by the administrative staff.
Are you trying to go against me, the manager? You've got some nerve. Or do you think you're better just because you're older?
Really? Just because he's the manager, why does he feel entitled to talk down to me like that? Indeed, hierarchical relationships are necessary. But before that comes professional manners. No, even basic human decency. Can he understand something so simple? It's surprising he made it to become a manager without being able to use even formal language.
If you've got it, finish it by today.
No, like I said before, I have things I need to do.
That doesn't matter. If you can't follow my orders, I'll have to fire you.
Fired. Fired? Did he really think I would just comply? Of course, I'm not resisting because he's younger. If it were truly necessary work, I would take it on without complaint. But the documents he handed me were from the back shelf. And they're from 5 years ago. Why summarize documents for a company we've already ceased dealing with? It was a waste of time, and I had no intention of playing along with this farce.
Just get to work already.
He left after saying that, but I had more important work to do. I needed to prepare for negotiations and didn't want to waste time on such trivial matters. Fortunately, my desk is out of the manager's sight, and I spent the day working on my own tasks. The next day,
Hey, did you get those documents summarized? You promised to submit them yesterday. Why haven't I seen them yet? Do you need to be told to do everything?
I haven't done anything with the documents. As I said yesterday, I have no intention of wasting my time.
So you're saying you can follow the orders of your manager?
If you're going to wield your power as the manager like that, then please do the job of a manager properly. Is assigning meaningless tasks something you think a manager should be doing? Knowing his personality, I was aware that saying this would only make him angry. But staying silent would only escalate things further, and I have no intention of wasting my precious time until retirement on such trivialities. However, my words seemed to have ignited his fury completely. He lost all composure, his face turned red, and he shouted at me.
Oh, if you're going to say that, then I'll show you what a manager's job is. We don't need old-timers like you. You're fired.
Are you making decisions based on your emotions? Isn't that the last thing someone in a managerial position should do?
You disobeyed your superior, so it's only natural, right? As a manager, I have the right to fire you. Pack your things and leave today.
I hadn't expected him to go this far in his anger. But he seemed serious. What a problem. I've never dealt with someone like this before. But I understood his personality then. Continuing to argue logically with him was pointless. If you insist, I'll leave immediately. What about the handover?
Your work is trivial and unnecessary. No one needs it, so there's nothing to hand over. What are you even talking about?
That's my line. What was he talking about? I wish he would stop being so selfish. Was that also an order from the manager? Since he said there was no need for a handover, then I won't do anything. So, you're saying there's no need for a handover?
Of course. It's better for us if an old-timer like you disappears quickly.
Understood? Since that's what he wanted, I left as he wished. But whatever happens next is not my concern. I was fired by the manager. It's up to him to fill the gap I leave. Understood. In that case, I'll leave the succession and everything else in your hands. With that, I'll take my leave.
Leave. Someone like you is better off quietly enjoying retirement at home.
I couldn't help but be amazed at the manager looking down on me until the very end. But that's just his character. People like him don't change because you say something. It's a waste of time and effort to even try. So I'll just do as he says. As he put it, I'm just a regular employee. And I got fired for defying the manager. That's all there is to it. However, I wonder if the other employees realize how bad it is for me to be leaving in this manner. Before I could leave the company, I was stopped.
Are you really going to leave?
I got fired, so I have to. But it seems the new manager will take care of everything, so don't worry.
But
If you ever have any trouble with work, feel free to reach out to me. You can always contact me. I said this and left, but my colleague looked quite anxious. It's understandable. But my place is no longer at the company, so it can't be helped. I thought of it as an early retirement as I reached home. I need to say goodbye to the president too, but I decided to wait and see. I just couldn't believe that this was the end of it. A week later,
Hey, who's handling this $1 billion deal?
that would be John. Have you forgotten? You fired him last week because he was old.
What? He was in charge of such an important deal. No wonder the performance wasn't improving. It's all because the old folks were covering for each other.
even after I was gone, it seemed the manager had been bad-mouthing me, but I couldn't care less. What he thinks of me doesn't matter anymore. Let him say what he wants. However, I had been waiting quietly for a week. I knew exactly what would happen because I was in charge of that deal.
So, what are you going to do?
Don't worry, I'll handle it myself.
Apparently, the manager went to meet with my former client. There was a scheduled negotiation that day. Of course, since he said he would take over everything, I left all the documents with him. But whether he could handle the negotiation was questionable.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, isn't John coming today?
Yes, I am Bob Tyler, the new manager. He retired last week, so I'll be taking over.
The moment he said that, the faces of our clients tensed. They must have been wondering why I didn't show up. They must have been quite surprised. Naturally, you'd properly say goodbye to your clients before leaving. I had built a strong relationship with them, so they were likely shocked by the lack of communication from me.
Hello,
Thank you for calling.
I'm sorry to call suddenly. I heard you retired. Is that true?
The client stepped out and then contacted me. They must have never imagined I would leave my job without any notice. Rather than saying I retired, it's more accurate to say I was fired.
Fired?
The new manager who's there with you, he decided to start firing older employees. I explained everything the manager had said to me. The client was quite surprised but listened to my story to the end and understood. In this day and age, it's unheard of for someone to be fired in such a manner, so they must have been bewildered. But the fact that they believed me without any doubt shows how much trust I had earned from them.
So that's the situation. Understood. We'll start the negotiation now, and I'll get back to you later.
I'm truly sorry for ending things this way. It was irresponsible of me, and I apologize.
No need to apologize. It's not your fault. But rest assured, we'll make sure he takes full responsibility.
The client said this and then hung up. I could somewhat predict what would befall that manager after this, but it seemed things turned out far worse than I had imagined.
Could you please leave now?
Excuse me, I thought we were here to discuss the renewal of our contract. Is there a problem with the documents?
That's why I'm asking you to leave. We had you come today to discuss the renewal, but we have no intention of renewing our contract. Dismissing people unjustly and creating a workplace as you please is a clear abuse of power. We cannot do business with a company that allows such people.
The moment the client said this, the manager was at a loss for words. He might not have understood exactly what was happening, but he must have understood the client knew he was abusing his power. The manager must have been struggled then to be confronted with such accusations by a client he thought knew nothing. How did you know about this? And if we don't renew the contract, it will be my responsibility. I imagine the manager was swamped with various anxieties, but this was just the beginning.
Given my long-standing relationship with your company's president, I'll ensure your case is thoroughly reviewed. The position of a division head in a large corporation is significant. After all, if the top fails, everything below crumbles.
Please wait. What exactly are you talking about? I don't understand. And if we don't renew the contract, I'll be in trouble. Please.
We would have considered renewing the contract if someone like you hadn't shown up. But we can't trust you. Business is built on trust. We had trust in the person who was handling our account before, not you. Perhaps if another salesperson had come, we might have considered it, but we can't trust someone who makes unjust dismissals.
Hearing the words unjust dismissal repeatedly, the manager must have finally understood his situation. It was revealed that he had unjustly dismissed me. And from the client's words, it was clear how much trust I had garnered and how much I had contributed to the company. And then, he probably understood just how much of a positive impact I could have had on the company if I were still there.
Please wait. I never thought you and he had such a relationship. The company's performance was declining. I thought the only option was to downsize the workforce with no future.
You tried to reduce expenses for the company's sake, so it wasn't for personal gain or out of emotion, but purely for the company's benefit.
Of course, I wouldn't do something like that for personal reasons. That would be an abuse of power. I believe I understand my role as a manager.
The manager might have seen this as a way out of the dire situation. From the brink of hell, a fragile thread dangled down. That's the situation, I believe. He was determined to cling to that thread and escape hell at all costs. With that mindset, the manager frantically continued making excuses, unaware that those very excuses were tightening the noose around his own neck.
So, let me ask you one question. Who do you think is the least necessary person for the company in the current situation?
The least necessary person? That would be those who haven't produced results, I guess.
Not producing results doesn't mean there's no potential. New employees can't produce results immediately, and nurturing them is the job of the company and management.
A wrong answer could sever the thread to escape from hell. The manager scrambled to find the answer the client wanted. But there is no way the manager can answer such a question.
Cutting the upper management's salaries. Would that be the best answer?
A business is about money, and those who work primarily for money won't put in their best effort without compensation, especially not the upper management whose responsibilities and workload only increase.
Then,
it's not about those who don't produce results, but about eliminating negative elements like you. Removing the negatives naturally improves the company. Don't you think so? That's what you said and thought you did, right? Removing the least necessary people is truly the best approach.
Confronted by the client's words, the manager was shocked. He hadn't expected to be criticized like this. Promoted to become a manager at a young age, he must have felt quite pleased with himself. But merely stepping on others doesn't make one a competent manager. I continued working in sales until this age precisely because I was trusted with the company's most significant deals. Though I say it was entrusted to me, I was the one who got the deal sealed. Someone who fires someone else just for being old, without understanding the value of experience, isn't fit to be a manager. being unfit for the role means getting paid as a manager is a waste. New employees or those with lesser skills aren't expected to carry such heavy responsibilities. However, if one earns a high salary and bears the title of manager, they must be stripped of their position if they fail to fulfill their duties.
You get what I'm saying, right? Since you tried to do the same thing, now that you're on the receiving end, you can say you don't understand, right?
No, that's not.
Got any excuses? I'm wrong.
It's not that, but.
Then you know what to do, right? What should be done for the company's sake.
The manager likely didn't expect such confrontation. He turned pale and fell silent. But it was the manager himself who clearly stated that unnecessary people for the company should be fired. Then, it's imperative to see that executed. If the manager was then considered the most unnecessary within the company, and if his own statements hold true, then he should be the one to resign.
But I have a family.
Weren't you acting for the company's sake? Are you going to bring personal issues into this?
That's.
Or are you going to admit that firing John was for personal reasons and not for the company's benefit?
I thought old people were useless. I'm really sorry.
The manager finally admitted his wrongdoing. My dismissal was unjust. While anyone could see this, the admission that mattered most needed to come from him.
All right, I'll report this to the president. Take care.
No, please.
That's all from me.
The client then dismissed the manager. According to the president, the client called later to relay everything. Consequently, the president decided to demote the manager. Upon hearing this, the manager was outraged, but the president detailed my hiring and efforts. The president believed in the manager and hired him, feeling pity for him after losing his job due to his acquaintance's company going bankrupt. The president had given the manager a chance out of sympathy, seeing a bit of me in him. However, focused only on results, the manager faced demotion due to his anger. It was his own doing. It couldn't be helped. I appreciated the president's opportunity and worked hard to repay that kindness. The manager took his position for granted. By then, the outcome was already decided. Later, the president contacted me, and I was able to return to the company. Busy since my return, I've committed to fulfilling my duties. The connections between people can sometimes greatly influence one's life. That's why it's crucial to value those connections, or life may take a turn for the worse. To prevent that, I want to live my life, never forgetting the kindness shown to me.